The universe has a twisted sense of humor. That's the only explanation for why their resumes ended up in my inbox on the same day, exactly 3 years after they destroyed my career. I'm Mia, and I built my tech company from the ashes of betrayal. Now I'm sitting in my corner office, staring at two applications that could change everything. These candidates look promising, Bella says, spreading more resumes across my desk, especially the one with corporate law experience. My fingers trace the name on the first resume, Tegan, my sister. The same sister who testified against me at the ethics board, claiming I leaked confidential client information. Very promising, I managed to say, keeping my voice steady. And this other one? Marley, she's got an impressive track record in client relations. My former best friend. The woman who backed up Tegan's lies, ensuring I'd never practice law again. Schedule interviews with both of them, I say, surprising myself with how calm I sound. Tomorrow, if possible. Bella raises an eyebrow. That's unusually quick. We usually take a week to review candidates. Call it intuition. I lean back in my chair, allowing myself a small smile. Sometimes you just know. The glass walls of my office showcase the bustling workspace below. Dozens of women building careers, supporting each other. Everything I created after being forced out of corporate law. Quincy appears in my doorway, tablet in hand. The investors loved the quarterly report. We're changing lives, Mia. We're about to change more than that, I murmur, sliding the resumes toward him. Look who just applied. His eyes widen as he reads. Holy shit. Are you okay? I'm better than okay. I stand up, walking to the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking downtown. I'm finally getting what I deserve. Mia. Quincy's voice carries that warning tone I've come to know well. Whatever you're thinking, I'm thinking it's time for karma to pay a visit. I turn to face him. They have no idea I own this company. They probably haven't even Googled the CEO. Because you've kept your profile intentionally low, he reminds me. You've worked hard to build this place. Don't let revenge destroy it. I'm not destroying anything. I pick up their resumes again. I'm simply giving them the opportunity they're asking for. Bella clears her throat. Should I not schedule the interviews? No, schedule them, back to back, and don't mention my name anywhere in the correspondence. After they leave, I pull up the company's security footage from 3 years ago, the day I was escorted out of Harrison and Mills, my legal career in shambles. I watch myself walking past the security desk, head held high despite the tears threatening to fall. My phone buzzes. A text from my mother. Tegan asked for your new address again. She says she wants to apologize. I delete the message without responding. 3 years of silence and now this. It can't be coincidence. The intercom crackles. Ms. Erickson, your 3 o'clock is here. Send her in. I minimize the security footage as Sarah, one of our success stories, enters. She's beaming. I got the job, she announces. That algorithm you developed for matching women lawyers with mentors. It worked. I start at Thompson & Brooks next month. This is what I built. A company that lifts women up instead of tearing them down. Every success story is a middle finger to those who tried to destroy me. Congratulations, I say, genuinely happy for her. You earned this. After Sarah leaves, I pull up Tegan and Marley's social media profiles. They're both struggling, just as I was 3 years ago. Tegan's last firm let her go during downsizing. Marley's client list has dwindled to nothing. The interviews are set for tomorrow at 9 and 10, Bella announces through the intercom. Should I prepare the usual testing materials? No, I reply. I'll handle these personally. That evening, as I'm leaving the office, Quincy catches up to me at the elevator. Whatever you're planning, he says, remember who you are now, not who you were when they hurt you. I step into the elevator, pressing the lobby button. I'm still exactly who I was, Quincy, just stronger. And tomorrow they're going to learn exactly what that means. The doors close on his concerned face and I let myself smile. Tomorrow, Tegan and Marley will walk into my company thinking it's just another job interview. They'll sit across from me, probably not even recognizing me at first. Amazing what 3 years in success can do to change a person. And then I'll watch their faces as they realize exactly whose mercy they're at. Karma isn't just a bitch. Sometimes she's a CEO. The elevator reaches the lobby and I step out into the evening air, my heels clicking against the marble floor. Tomorrow can't come soon enough. Through my office security feed, I watch Tegan enter the lobby first. She's wearing the same navy suit she wore to the ethics hearing, though it hangs looser on her frame now. Her hands fidget with her portfolio as she approaches the reception desk. "I'm here for an interview," she says. "Tegan Erickson." 5 minutes later, Marley arrives, her signature red hair now cut short. They notice each other immediately. The awkward recognition on their faces is priceless. "Tegan," Marley's voice carries through the security audio. "You're interviewing here too?" "Marley, Yes." Tegan takes a step back. "What are the chances?" I press the intercom. "Bella, send them both up together. The elevator ride must be excruciating for them." When they step into our office space, I watch their eyes widen at the modern design, the wall of success stories, the energy of women supporting women. Bella greets them with practiced professionalism. "Please, have a seat in the conference room. The CEO will be with you shortly." I give them 10 minutes to stew. Through the glass walls, I can see them shooting nervous glances at each other, barely speaking. Finally, I stand, straighten my designer blazer, and walk in. The recognition isn't immediate. I've changed. Success does that. My hair is longer, styled expertly. My posture radiates confidence. My accent, once a source of mockery, now adds authority to my words. "Good morning," I say, sitting down across from them. "I'm Mia Erickson, CEO of Women in Law Tech." The colour drains from Tegan's face. Marley's portfolio slips from her hands, scattering papers across the floor. "Mia," Tegan whispers, this is your company." Surprised? I lean back, crossing my legs. "I built it from scratch after my legal career was, what's the word you used in your testimony? Compromised?" Marley bends to gather her papers, hands shaking. "We didn't, I mean, we never meant..." "Never meant what, Marley? To destroy my career? To back up my sister's lies?" I tap their resumes on the table. "And now here you are, seeking employment from the very person you betrayed." "Please," Tegan says, her voice breaking, "if you just let me explain..." "Explain?" I laugh, but there's no humour in it. Like how you explain to the ethics board that you caught me sharing confidential information. Or how Marley so convincingly described my pattern of unethical behaviour. "There were circumstances," Marley starts. "Things you don't know about. Save it." I stand up, walking to the window. "You're both here because you need jobs. Your references are solid, your qualifications match our requirements, and under normal circumstances you'd both be strong candidates." Hope flickers across their faces, quickly replaced by suspicion. "What are you saying?" Tegan asks. I turn back to face them. "I'm saying you're hired, both of you. Starting Monday." "What?" They speak in unison, confusion evident. "You heard me." I slide 2 contracts across the table. "Standard employment agreements. Sign them now if you want the positions." Marley picks up her contract with trembling fingers. "Why would you hire us? After everything?" "Because I built this company to empower women in law, to give them second chances." I lean forward, placing my palms flat on the table. "And because I want you both where I can see you." Tegan's eyes meet mine, the same dark brown as our mother's. "Mia, please. We need to talk about what happened." "No, we don't." I straighten up. "What we need to do is maintain a professional working relationship. You'll report to Bella. She'll show you your desks and explain your responsibilities." As if on cue, Bella enters with employee handbooks. "Ready to start the orientation?" "Wait," Marley says. "That's it? We're just hired?" I move toward the door, pausing with my hand on the handle. "Welcome to Women in Law Tech. I suggest you both work hard to prove yourselves worthy of this second chance." I let my voice drop slightly. Because trust me, there won't be a third. I leave them with Bella, walking briskly to my office where Quincy is waiting. "That was intense," he says, having watched through the glass walls. Are you sure about this? Absolutely. I sit down at my desk, pulling up their personnel files on my computer. They think this is their second chance. They have no idea it's actually mine. Mia, Quincy starts. Don't worry, I cut him off. I'm not going to do anything illegal or unethical. I learned that lesson the hard way. I look up at him with a smile that doesn't reach my eyes. I'm just going to make sure Karma does her job properly this time. Through the glass, I watch Bella leading Tegan and Marley on their office tour. They look shell-shocked, vulnerable. Perfect. Let the games begin. You were always Mum's favourite, Tegan's voice echoes in my memory as I watch her struggle with the project I assigned. Through the glass walls, I can see her frantically typing, then deleting, then typing again. The client presentation is due in an hour. A knock on my door pulls me from my thoughts. Come in. We need to talk, Quincy says, closing the door behind him. Marley just had a breakdown in the bathroom. Bella found her crying. Not my problem. I keep my eyes on my screen. It is when it affects workplace morale. The other employees are noticing the impossible deadlines you're setting for them. I finally look up. Impossible? I managed those exact tasks when I was starting over. Because you had something to prove. They're just trying to survive. A memory flashes. Me, 3 years ago, sleeping in my car because I couldn't make rent. The shame of borrowing money from friends who later turned their backs on me. Speaking of survival, I say, pulling up a security feed on my tablet, watch this. The footage shows Tegan in the break room yesterday making a personal call. Mom, I can't keep doing this. She's my boss now. No, I haven't told her about Dad yet, because she wouldn't understand. Quincy frowns. About your dad? What's that about? I don't know, I admit, but I'm going to find out. As if on cue, Tegan appears in my doorway clutching a folder. The presentation's ready for review. Come in. I gesture to the chair across from me. Close the door. She sits, her posture rigid. I take the folder, flipping through her work with deliberate slowness. This is... I pause for effect. Actually good. Relief floods her face, quickly replaced by wariness. Thank you. You know what's interesting? I set the folder down. You're doing better work now than you ever did at Harrison and Mills. Why is that? Maybe because my boss isn't actively trying to sabotage me this time. The words burst out before she can stop them. Her hand flies to her mouth. Excuse me? I lean forward. Is that what you think happened? No, Tears well in her eyes. You don't understand what was happening back then. What Dad made me do. Dad's been gone for 5 years, Tegan. Try another excuse. No, she whispers. He hasn't. The world tilts slightly. What? He came back, right before everything happened. He threatened to expose Mom's immigration fraud if I didn't help him get revenge on you. I stand up so quickly my chair rolls back. You're lying. He was jealous, she continues, words tumbling out. His daughter from his first marriage became this successful lawyer while he was nothing. He couldn't stand it. Get out! My voice shakes. Mia, please! Get out! She runs from my office. Through blurry eyes, I see Marley watching from her desk, concern etched on her face. Quincy appears at my side. What just happened? I need you to find everything you can about my father's whereabouts for the past 5 years. I grip the edge of my desk. Every detail. On it. He pauses at the door. For what it's worth, she wasn't lying. I've never seen someone look that terrified of the truth. After he leaves, I pull up an old photo on my phone. My father at my law school graduation before he disappeared with half our savings. His proud smile looks different now. Sinister. A soft knock makes me look up. Marley stands in the doorway, pale but determined. I heard, she says simply. Heard what? Everything. She steps inside, closing the door. And there's something you need to know about your father. I don't want to hear it. You need to. She pulls out her phone, showing me an email. He contacted me too before the ethics hearing, said he had proof I'd falsified client records at my old firm, said he'd turn me in unless I testified against you. My hands shake as I read the email. His words, his threats, his signature. Why didn't you tell me? Because he said he'd hurt Tegan if I did. Marley's voice breaks. I thought I was protecting both of you. I sink back into my chair, memories realigning themselves like pieces of a cruel puzzle. The timing of the accusations, the specific details only an insider would know. I need time to process this, I say finally. Marley nods, turning to leave. At the door, she pauses. For what it's worth, I've regretted what I did every day since. Not because I ended up losing everything, but because I lost you. After she's gone, I sit in silence, staring at the city skyline. The revenge I'd planned suddenly feels hollow, overshadowed by a bigger betrayal. My phone buzzes, a text from an unknown number. Hello, daughter. Heard you're doing well for yourself. We should catch up. My father. After all these years, the game has changed. Now I have a new target for my revenge. There's more, Marley says, pacing my office after hours. Something I never told anyone. The city lights twinkle behind her as darkness settles over the skyline. We're alone on the floor, everyone else gone home. Before the ethics hearing, she continues, I met with Imran. My head snaps up. My old mentor? What does he have to do with this? He knew about your father's plan. Marley stops pacing, gripping the back of a chair. He tried to warn me, but I was too scared to listen. Imran knew? The betrayal cuts deeper. He was like a father to me. That's just it. Marley's knuckles turn white. He was protecting you. Your father had something on him too. Something big. A knock interrupts us. Tegan stands in the doorway, her eyes red. Sorry, I forgot my... She spots Marley. Oh, you're telling her? You knew about Imran too, I demand. I knew everything. Tegan steps in, closing the door. Dad made sure we all knew our parts, like some sick puppet master. My phone buzzes again. Another text from him. Still waiting for that catch-up, daughter. Don't make me come find you. Show them, I tell Marley, turning my screen around. Tegan's face goes pale. He's making contact. Now? Why now? I ask. After 3 years of silence? Because of this, Quincy bursts in, tablet in hand. Look what I found. He pulls up a news article. Major law firm under federal investigation. Harrison and Mills, my old firm. Read the third paragraph, he says. My eyes scan the text. Investigation centers around systematic evidence, tampering and witness intimidation dating back 5 years. Your father's handiwork, Marley whispers. He used the firm to build his network of blackmail. That's how he got to all of us. But why target me? My voice cracks. I'm his daughter. Because you were getting too close, Tegan says. Your last case at Harrison and Mills, you were investigating corporate fraud. Did you ever look at who was on the board of those companies? Quincy swipes through his tablet. Found it. Among the board members, James Erickson. Our father. He couldn't let you expose him, Marley explains. So he used us to destroy your credibility before you could discover the truth. My phone buzzes again. A new message. Tick-tock, daughter. Don't make me remind you what happens to people who cross me. He's threatening you, Tegan says, reading over my shoulder. Just like he threatened all of us. No. I stand up, a plan forming. He's giving us an opportunity. For what? Marley asks. To set things right. I turn to Quincy. Call Bella. We need everyone here first thing tomorrow. It's time to use my company for what it was really meant for. Which is? Tegan asks. Justice. I smile grimly. We're going to catch him at his own game. Later that night, as I'm leaving, I find Marley waiting by my car. There's one more thing, she says quietly. Something I did that wasn't because of your father's threats. What? Remember that pro bono case you lost? The domestic violence victim? She looks away. I sabotaged your evidence. Not because your father made me, but because I was jealous. You were rising so fast and I was stuck. The admission hits like a physical blow. That case ruined that woman's life. I know. Tears stream down Marley's face. I've been trying to find her to make it right, but she disappeared after losing custody. I unlock my car, needing space to breathe. Go home, Marley. We'll deal with this tomorrow. What are you going to do? I'm going to find that woman, I say, getting in, and then I'm going to take down everyone who ever hurt her, starting with my father. As I drive home, my phone buzzes one final time. A picture message from my father, me, entering my apartment building taken today. He's watching. He's close. Good, because now I have something he doesn't. The truth. And tomorrow I'll have something else. A team of women he underestimated, ready to bring him down. The game isn't about revenge anymore. It's about justice, and this time I'm not playing by his rules. I park in my garage, noticing a sedan I don't recognize across the street. Inside, a figure sits watching. I wave, making sure they see me. Let him watch. Let him think he's in control. Tomorrow we start fighting back. I just pray we're strong enough for what's coming. He's here! Bella's voice crackles through my earpiece. Black suit, grey hair, walking through the lobby now. I straighten my blazer, watching the elevator numbers climb. After a week of planning, my father finally took the bait. A fake news leak about Women in Law Tech's upcoming IPO. Everyone in position? I ask. Ready, Quincy confirms from the security room. Cameras rolling, Tegan adds from her hidden spot in the conference room. The elevator dings. James Erickson steps out looking exactly as I remember. Expensive suit, confident stride, shark-like smile. 3 years haven't changed him at all. My successful daughter, he announces, arms spread wide. Look at all this. You've done well for yourself. Save it. I stay behind my desk. We both know why you're here. Can't a father be proud? He sits uninvited, eyes scanning my office. Though I have to admit, the IPO news caught my attention. That's quite a valuable company you've built. A company built on helping the women you've hurt. I lean forward. Like Sarah Martinez. His smile falters slightly. Who? The domestic violence victim whose case I lost. The one Marley sabotaged on your orders. I slide a folder across my desk. We found her. He doesn't touch the folder. I'm sure I don't know what you're talking about. Really? Because she remembers you very well, especially the offshore account you offered her to drop the charges against your golf buddy. A muscle twitches in his jaw. Careful, daughter. You're stepping into dangerous territory. No, you are. I press a button on my desk. The office door locks with an audible click. Did you really think I wouldn't figure it out? The pattern of witness intimidation, the strategic blackmail, the way you used Harrison and Mills to cover your tracks? Impressive detective work. He adjusts his cufflinks. But you have no proof, don't I? I turn my monitor around, showing him the security footage from Harrison and Mills. Amazing what a federal investigation can uncover, especially when the FBI has an inside source. His eyes narrow. What inside source? The conference room door opens. Imran steps out, followed by 2 FBI agents. Hello, James, Imran says quietly. It's been a while. My father stands so quickly his chair topples. You're wearing a wire. We all are, Marley says, emerging from my private office. Have been all week, ever since you started threatening Mia again. You set me up. He turns to me, real anger replacing the fake charm. Your own father. You stopped being my father the day you used my sister to destroy my life. I nod to the agents. He's all yours. James Erickson, the first agent steps forward. You're under arrest for witness tampering, extortion and conspiracy to commit fraud. You'll regret this, he snarls as they cuff him. All of you. I still have evidence. No, you don't, Tegan interrupts, holding up a hard drive. Not anymore. Amazing what someone can find in your hotel room while you're distracted by a fake IPO meeting. I watch them lead him to the elevator, his threats echoing down the hallway. Only when the doors close do I allow myself to shake. It's over, Quincy says, squeezing my shoulder. Not quite. I turn to Marley. Sarah Martinez is waiting downstairs. Time to make things right. Marley pales but nods. I'm ready. We all are, Imran adds. The FBI has enough to overturn every case he corrupted. including yours, Mia. I don't care about my case anymore. I gather my things. I care about fixing what he broke, starting with Sarah. And us? Tegan asks quietly. Can we fix what's broken between us? I look at my sister, seeing for the first time how much pain she's been carrying. We can try, but first we have work to do. My phone buzzes. A text from Bella. Sarah's getting nervous down here. Should I bring her up? No, I reply. Tell her we're coming down. All of us. Together we take the elevator to the lobby. Sarah stands by the reception desk, clutching her purse like a shield. She looks exactly as I remember from 3 years ago, scared but determined. Ms. Martinez, I say, extending my hand. Thank you for coming. We have a lot to talk about. Like what? She asks warily. Like how we're going to help you get your children back. I gesture to my team. Meet your new legal team. Pro bono, of course. For the first time in 3 years, I feel truly powerful. Not because of revenge or success, but because I'm finally using that power the way I always wanted, to help others. My father thought he could break us all. Instead, he made us stronger. Now it's time to show the world exactly what strong women can do. Your father wants to make a deal, the FBI agent says, sitting across from me in our conference room. He's willing to provide names, dates, evidence, everything. In exchange for what? I ask, though I already know the answer. He wants you to speak at his sentencing. Tell the judge he was a good father. Tegan, sitting beside me, lets out a bitter laugh. Of course he does. Still trying to control us. It's been 2 weeks since his arrest. 2 weeks of unraveling his web of corruption, of finding more victims, more broken lives. There's something else, the agent continues. He mentioned your mother's immigration status. My blood runs cold. He's threatening her. Not directly, but he implied. I'll do it. Tegan stands up suddenly. I'll speak at his sentencing instead of Mia. Sit down, I tell her. He doesn't get to play us against each other anymore. The door opens and Imran walks in looking exhausted. Sarah Martinez just finished her testimony. The judge has agreed to reopen her custody case. Finally, some good news. How is she? Stronger than any of us. He sits heavily. She asked about you, Marley. Marley, who's been quietly working in the corner, looks up. What did she say? She wants to meet, says she has questions only you can answer. The room falls silent. We all know what this means. Marley will have to confess her role in Sarah losing her children. I'll do it, Marley says quietly. I owe her the truth. My phone buzzes, a message from Quincy. Turn on the news, now. I grab the remote, switching on the conference room TV. A reporter stands outside Harrison and Mills. Breaking news in the ongoing investigation into one of the city's largest law firms. Sources say several senior partners have agreed to cooperate with federal authorities, revealing a pattern of corruption that spans decades. It's happening, Imran says. The whole house of cards is falling. Good. I turn off the TV. But we're not done yet. Mia? Tegan touches my arm. There's something else you need to know about Dad. About why he really came back. I don't want to hear it. You have to. She pulls out her phone, shows me a medical report. He's dying. Terminal cancer. That's why he was so desperate to get control of your company. He needed money for experimental treatments. The news hits me like a physical blow. How long? 6 months. Maybe less. Marley looks up from her laptop. That doesn't excuse what he did. No, I agree. It doesn't. But it explains the timing. I turn to the FBI agent. Tell him I'll speak at his sentencing. Mia, no, Tegan protests. Not to help him, I clarify. To help everyone else. The judge needs to hear exactly what kind of man he is from someone who knew him best. The agent nods and leaves. Imran follows, saying he needs to prep for tomorrow's testimonies. Left alone with Tegan and Marley, I finally ask the question that's been haunting me. Did you ever hate me? Really? Never, Tegan says immediately. I was jealous, scared, angry. But I never hated you. I hated myself, Marley admits, for being weak, for letting him manipulate me. for betraying my best friend. My phone buzzes again. This time it's Sarah. Thank you for everything. Can we talk? Just us? Go, Tegan says, reading over my shoulder. We'll handle things here. I find Sarah in the building's coffee shop, staring into an untouched latte. She looks up as I approach. Your father, she says without preamble. He offered me $50,000 to drop the case. When I refused, he threatened my kids. I'm so sorry. Don't be. You're not him. She straightens up. And now, thanks to you and your team, I have a chance to get my babies back. We'll make sure you do. I know. She finally smiles. That's why I wanted to talk to you. I want to help other women like me. Your company. Could you use another advocate? I feel tears pricking my eyes. Are you sure? After everything? Because of everything. She reaches across the table, squeezes my hand. Your father tried to break us all. Let's show him how well we can put ourselves back together. Back in my office, I find a new email from the prison. My father requesting a private visit before the sentencing. Tegan appears in my doorway. You don't have to do this alone anymore. I know. I look up at my sister. Want to visit Dad with me? She nods, tears in her eyes. Together this time. Together. The word feels different now, stronger, like a shield instead of a wound. My father wanted to tear us apart. Instead, he created something he never expected. A family of survivors, bound not by blood, but by healing. And tomorrow, when we face him, he'll finally understand what that means. The prison visiting room smells like stale coffee and desperation. My father sits across from us in his orange jumpsuit, looking smaller than I remember. The cancer has taken its toll. My daughters, he says, attempting his old charm. Together again, just like I always wanted. Save the performance, I tell him. We're here to listen, nothing more. He coughs, a wet, rattling sound. Fair enough. I suppose I owe you both an explanation. You owe us more than that, Tegan says quietly. I was protecting you, he insists. Everything I did was to secure your future. By destroying mine, I lean forward. By blackmailing my best friend? By threatening our mother? You don't understand the business world, he says. Sometimes, don't, Tegan's voice cracks. Don't you dare justify what you did. A guard approaches. 5 minutes. My father's facade cracks. I'm dying. You know that now. All I wanted was to leave something for my family. You had something, I tell him. You had us, but you chose power instead. The treatments, he says desperately. They're experimental, expensive. If your company goes public... Stop. I stand up. That's why you really came back, isn't it? Not to reconnect. Not to make amends. You wanted to use my success to save yourself. He doesn't deny it. The sentencing is tomorrow, Tegan says. We'll be there, but not to plead for leniency. You'd let your father die in prison? You let your daughters suffer for years, I remind him. Actions have consequences. Mia, please. He reaches for my hand. I pull back. I know I hurt you, but I'm still your father. No. I gather my things. A father protects his children. A father builds them up. You tried to break us down. The guard returns. Time's up. As they lead him away, he calls out, What are you going to tell the judge? The truth, Tegan and I say together. Outside the prison, Marley waits in her car. How did it go? Exactly as expected, I say, climbing in. He's still trying to manipulate us. My phone rings. It's Sarah. The judge granted an emergency hearing for tomorrow morning, right before your father's sentencing. We'll be there, I promise. Back at the office, Quincy has news. The FBI found more evidence. Offshore accounts, fake identities, everything. Your father's network goes deeper than we thought. How many victims? Tegan asks. Dozens, maybe hundreds. He shows us the files. Each one a story like Sarah's. Then we help them all, I decide. Every single one. Marley looks up from her desk. I've been thinking, what if we expanded the company, created a victim advocacy division? Using our tech to connect survivors with resources, Tegan adds, catching on. Legal aid, counselling, support groups. Turn our father's legacy of destruction into something positive, I muse. I like it. Bella interrupts with more news. The press is gathering outside. They want statements about tomorrow's sentencing. No statements, I tell her. Let our actions speak for us. That evening, as we prepare our testimonies, my mother calls. I heard you visited him, she says softly. Are you okay? Better than okay, I tell her. For the first time, I feel free. Your sister told me about the new advocacy program. He tried to break you, but look what you've built instead. After we hang up, I find Tegan in the conference room, practicing her testimony. Ready for tomorrow? I ask. No, she admits, but I'm done being afraid of him. Me too. I sit beside her. Whatever happens in court, we face it together. My phone buzzes one last time, a message from the prison. My father had a medical emergency. He's asking for us. Don't, Quincy advises when I show him. It's another manipulation. I know. I delete the message. Tomorrow isn't about him anymore. It's about everyone he hurt. And about healing, Marley adds, joining us. We work late into the night, preparing for both Sarah's hearing and the sentencing. Our father's shadow no longer looms over us. Instead, we cast our own light. Tomorrow we'll tell our stories. Not just mine, or Tegan's, or Sarah's, but all of them. Every woman he tried to silence. And maybe in giving voice to their pain, we'll finally find our own healing. Ready? Tegan asks as we finally prepare to leave. I look around at our unlikely family, my sister, my once-lost friend, my loyal colleagues. All of us scarred. All of us stronger. Ready, I confirm. Tomorrow justice gets a new name, and it sounds like victory. The courtroom falls silent as I take the stand. My father sits at the defense table looking frail but still defiant. Behind him, rows of his victims, our collective strength finally outweighing his power. Ms. Erickson, the judge says, you may begin. I clear my throat. I'm not here to talk about my father's crimes. The evidence speaks for itself. I'm here to talk about what happens next. My father shifts in his seat. This morning, Sarah Martinez regained custody of her children. Tomorrow, another victim will find justice, and the day after that, another. I turn to face him directly. You taught me that power means controlling others through fear, but I've learned something different. Real power is helping others find their strength. Objection, his lawyer starts. Overruled, the judge says. Continue. My company is announcing a new initiative today, the Survivors Alliance program. Every penny of my father's seized assets will fund it, helping victims of corporate abuse and blackmail rebuild their lives. Murmurs ripple through the courtroom. You can't, my father croaks. That's my money. No, Tegan interrupts from her seat. It's blood money, and we're washing it clean, I continue. Each person in this room has a story of how this man hurt them, but that's not the end of their story. Sarah stands holding her daughter's hand. I got my children back today. Marley, she rises. I confessed my role in his schemes. Now I help others come forward. One by one, they stand, each victim becoming a victor, each story of pain transformed into purpose. Your Honor, I conclude, my father showed us the worst of humanity. Now we're showing him the best. That's his true sentence, watching everything he built become a force for good. The judge nods. The court appreciates your testimony. Mr. Erickson, do you have anything to say before I pronounce sentence? My father struggles to his feet. My daughter thinks she's won, but she's just like me, using power to... No, I cut in. I'm like my mother, strong enough to start over, brave enough to trust again. The judge raises her gavel. James Erickson, this court sentences you to 20 years in federal prison. Additionally, I'm ordering all your assets seized and redistributed according to the Survivors Alliance program proposal. The gavel strikes. It sounds like freedom. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarm us. Quincy handles them while Tegan, Marley and I slip away to the car where Bella waits. Sarah's paperwork is filed, she reports. The advocacy program launches next week. We already have 50 applications. My phone rings. Imran. The FBI task force wants to partner with us. Your father's network led to 3 more firms under investigation. Good, I say. Let's help them clean house. Back at the office, our team gathers in the conference room. The wall of success stories has doubled in size, each photo representing a life rebuilt. I have something to say, Marley announces. I'm stepping down as client director. What? Tegan asks. Why? Because I want to run the advocacy program full-time, if you'll let me. I smile. The position's yours. And I have news too, Tegan adds. Mum's immigration status is secure. The FBI found proof that Dad had falsified the original threat. A weight lifts from my shoulders. Then it's really over. Not over, Quincy corrects. Just beginning. He's right. On my desk, applications pile up. Women seeking help, offering help, joining our mission. My father's web of fear has become a network of support. Remember what you said when you hired us? Marley asks. About wanting us where you could see us? I was wrong, I admit. I wanted revenge. Instead, I found something better. Family, Tegan says softly. Speaking of family, Bella enters with a letter. Your father's doctor sent this. I read it silently, then pass it to Tegan. His cancer has spread. 3 months, maybe less. Should we visit him? She asks. No, I decide. But we'll make sure he gets updates about every life we help rebuild. That's our final justice. Sarah appears in the doorway, her children beside her. Ready for my first day? Welcome to the team, I tell her. All of you. Looking around this room, at my sister, my reformed friend, our growing family of survivors turned warriors, I finally understand. My father thought he was teaching me about power. Instead, he taught me about strength. Not the strength to destroy, but the strength to rebuild. Not the power to control, but the power to uplift. He wanted to leave a legacy of fear. Instead, we're building a legacy of hope. And that's the sweetest revenge of all. Let's get to work, I say. Together we do.